By now, many of us have been to a COVID clinic to get tested at least once. Hey, Mary.
Hey, Charlie.
But there's another type of testing that the government is doing to most of us. Es posible que sepas mucho menos sobre. Wow, I think you dislodged some Spanish.
Traces of coronavirus have been detected in wastewater in Melbourne's southwest.
Traces of COVID-19 have been detected at sewage plants in Sydney's north.
In wastewater at Lakes Entrance.
Wastewater at both Portland and Benalla.
Someone has excreted coronavirus at some stage in the catchment of Apollo Bay.
Straight into the catchment? Well, I suppose it cuts out the middleman. This isn't just a COVID thing. It turns out that the government has been monitoring our wastewater for a while now. Yep, your toilet is a spy. You know too much. The National Wastewater Drug Monitoring Program started in 2016 and covers over 13 million of us. Well, not literally, because gross. So, Dr. Nick Crosby from Melbourne Water, how does it work?
So, I mean, it starts principally in the bathroom, right?
Yeah, I figured that much out for myself, Nick.
And the sewage makes its way to the treatment plant, and then you have to sample at a certain time. We are sampling over a 24-hour period, once an hour.
They collect samples of sewage in little bottles and post them to scientists, which sounds like bullying, but actually it's science.
So we collect wastewater from multiple different locations around the country, from every state, capital, city and in regional areas. And from these samples, we can detect different drugs of interest, say cannabis, methamphetamine, heroin, etc. And back calculating these, we can determine the community consumption rates of different drugs of interest.
So if you've ever felt like the government is taking the piss, it turns out they are literally taking the piss and sending it to smiling scientists who hold it up to the glistening Queensland sunshine to find out what parts of Australia are doing how much of what drugs. It's like State of Origin for drug users. It's like State of Origin. And the best part is they actually publicly release the findings. So they should, given we all made a contribution. And there are some surprising findings, like the most cocaine taken per person in Australia is in Sydney. Sorry, surprising. Here we go. The most ecstasy taken per person is in Darwin. Must be why everyone's so sweaty. The most heroin taken is in Melbourne, single origin I'm sure, while in some good news for regional South Australia, they are the best in the country at doing math. Meth. Sorry, that should be meth. The toilet police have been able to tell us how our drug use patterns have changed thanks to coronavirus. Take alcohol. We were all told repeatedly that we survived lockdown by hitting the booze at record levels.
The pandemic has led to a worrying spike in alcohol consumption.
Australians are buying and drinking more alcohol.
Many households are buying more alcohol.
Alcohol consumption has spiked amid the current crisis.
But our toilets told a different story, with all capital cities except Melbourne registering record low alcohol consumption during lockdown. So we either all drank less or we stopped urinating. Either way, it's incredible. It turns out we didn't need alcohol to get through lockdown. All we needed was the love of our families. And cocaine, meth and heroin, all of which hit record levels. Sewage testing offers authorities an early warning system for COVID, which could help them target lockdowns to only affected areas. But like any form of government big data, our urine can be used against us. In 2017, Scott Morrison said he wanted to use sewerage results to choose which postcodes would trial drug testing of welfare recipients, which goes to show that in this country we will wade through a literal river of shit just to make life harder for poor people. Although if we're going to drug test postcodes full of bludgers living the high life off the taxpayer, let's start with postcode 2600 Parliament House and publicly release those results. Now that would be some good bathroom reading.
Taken.
Sorry.